Thank you for attending the Wednesday press conference after the Tuesday council meetings that we've been having throughout my administration. I appreciate all the folks who are here today and those that are tuning in. I want to go over a couple of things before we go into the matters that we discussed last night at the press conference. A couple of things that are going on in the community. I like to try to remind people again that the United Ways Live United Drive Results event will take place on Thursday, August the 25th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the hitching lot at the farmers market. There will be food trucks and live music there, and everyone is invited. United Way also has a website that you can go to get more information. This is always a great event for the community, and I encourage folks to attend. Another reminder that we made last night was that our next council meeting would be on September the 6th after Labor Day. City Hall and most of the city services will be closed on Monday to observe Labor Day. One event that's coming up that I think is very important, and I've been mentioning it quite a bit lately, is the 5K race that Contact Helpline is hosting. It's on September the 10th, which is National Suicide Prevention Day, and it will be held at the soccer complex. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Contact Helpline, but it is a 501c3 organization here in Columbus that does amazing work. Their primary mission is to help prevent suicide and reassure local citizens when they call in suffering from mental illness or depression, that there is help and hope for them. Their direct phone number is 662-327-2968. And you can register for the 5K race by going to contacthelplinegtrms.org. This event is part of this organization's, it's a big part of how they make their budget each year. They try to raise $10,000 on this race. It is a Mississippi race timed event. There will also be a walk for those who don't run. There will also be a memorial walk for those who have lost family or friends to suicide, where you can carry a picture of the loved one that you lost. And one of the reasons I want to keep talking about this is a very important organization, probably the only Contact Helpline group in Mississippi that is larger than the one in the GTR area is Jackson. And the work that they do through only one full-time employee and a part-time employee and primarily trained volunteers is amazing. I was on their website recently, and it stated that every 40 seconds, someone makes the decision to take their life. That's a sobering number if you think about it. One of the things that I think is important in our community now is that talking about mental illness has always been difficult for people usually. It's something that takes a stigma with it for many folks. But there are very few people that you see today that aren't suffering some type of depression. There's hardly any family that you know that hasn't lost a loved one to this. So we've got to be more proactive in talking about this and making sure people are getting the help that they need. Contact Helpline has been helping people in this area since the 70s. And they've quietly gone about their business and saved countless lives. They also help do follow-up for folks who are having trouble with depression or mental illness. You know, and I've heard several speakers over the years talk about this, and they said most people are willing to go to the doctor from everything from their toes to their eyes, but when it comes to their brains, the stigma of admitting that you don't feel good or you're depressed, there's always been a stigma with that we've got to move past. We know from every day there's all types of things that we hear about that are causing more problems, especially with our young people. So please consider being a part of this important fundraiser, their 5K, again on September the 10th. And you can go online to register. It's very easy. I've done it. and the run is at the soccer complex. And if you have any other questions, please go to their website that I mentioned earlier. Pick It Up Possumtown has planned its next community cleanup event, and that's going to be September the 17th from 8 a.m. till 11 a.m. And the focus will be on the Highway 45 business corridor area this time. I really encourage people to try to set some time aside to work with Pick It Up Possumtown and what they're trying to do to help clean up our community. Back in April, we had a cleanup in each ward with Pick It Up Possumtown leading the efforts in that, and we had a very successful, good turnout. There are a lot of concerns in the community about the trash pickup, about what people are leaving outside their homes, mattresses and things that the city does not pick up. There's always confusion about where you can take things to dispose of them. Also recycling. All these things are very important, and I just encourage everybody to try to, if you can't help on 45 that day, on September the 10th, do something in your neighborhood. There are other groups in town I know that have been organizing the cleanup areas of the city, and I highly commend them for that too. But I hope that people will consider being a part of Pick It Up Possumtown. We're also, with Pick It Up Possumtown, we're going to be going into the schools this year, working with the kids and trying to educate kids on the importance of cleaning up after themselves if they drop something outside, and being proactive in keeping their community clean. Also want to remind folks that we have city prayer walks that are held the first Saturday of each month at 10 a.m. The meeting place is the Columbus Police Station, and the next prayer walk will be September the 3rd. Also, this is important. We talked about this last night. We have a lot of events that go on in the community, and many times you have to fill out something to prepare for those events. If you want a street blocked, or if you're going to do something in an area that is not the normal stipulations of day-to-day activities. It's important that if you're going to have an event, that you go to our website and find the forms for the events that you want to have. If it's blocking streets, there's also forms here at City Hall. You can pick them up here. But if you want to get approval of the council, you need to try to do it far in advance of your event. And I know it's hard to remember this sometimes, but it's important, especially those who are having the same events over and over. Try to put it on your calendar. We had an incident last night at the council meeting where we had to go back and approve an event that had already taken place because somebody didn't get the information in time. And the council really would like to see those beforehand. So that's just another reminder of we appreciate people who are planning events in the city. This is a great way to have things for folks to do outside of the norm. But just remember, if you're planning these types of things, you really need to think in advance about getting signed up for that. And last but not least, I wanted to remind folks that the Mayor's Youth Council is back. The last couple of years, there's not been a lot of activity with the Youth Council because of COVID and other things, but we are back this year. We're encouraging, it's open for students who reside in the boundaries of the Columbus Municipal School District, ages in grades 9 through 12. It's also open to people living within the city who are homeschooled, and it's also open to schools within the city limits that are interested in being a part of it. Those are the priority groups. If there are other students in the county that would like to apply, they can do that, but priority will be given to those groups that I just mentioned. The deadline to sign up is September the 2nd by 5 p.m. You can go to our website and get the application, or you can come by City Hall and pick it up. I hope to be going into the schools soon to try to encourage students to be a part of this. We're excited about it. This is going to be an opportunity to have our young people be involved in public policy for the city of Columbus. particularly those that affect them. We want to make sure that with council members, we have Judah Bennett is spearheading this for us, and Emily from Friendly City Books is in charge of our programming this year. The groups, we will meet twice a month. I'm trying to look here to be sure. The first and third Mondays, we will meet at 6 p.m. here at City Hall. Once we have the group selected, we'll have an induction ceremony, and the kids will also be involved in community service. It's a great way to get community service hours too. So if you hear about this from today or from others, please encourage young people in the city in grades 9 through 12 to sign up to be potentially selected to be on the Columbus Mayor's Youth Council. Okay, I think that's all my special announcements. So we move into last night's meeting. We did the council. I'm sorry, I don't know. Here I am. Council vote last night to on the selection committee for the police chief. We also voted to on a new job description that will be that will go out today for seeking applicants for the position. It will be a national search. It will be open for 30 days. The members of the search committee are as follows. I'm on the committee: Vice Mayor Mickens, Councilman Stephen Jones, Councilman Rusty Green, COO Jamie Garrett, Ms. Pat Mitchell, our Human Resources Director, Scott Colomb, District Attorney, Amanda Meadows, who's our City Public Defender, Rita Felton, who serves on the Civil Service Commission, and former Police Chief Pete Bowen. So we appreciate all the members of the committee who agreed to participate in this very important activity. As I reminded during the council meeting last night, that the council had voted previously to have a 10-member committee, and 4 members of that committee would be made up of people from the community. Once that vote was made, I asked the council, I sent them an email that very night after the council meeting, asking them to work with Ms. Garrett on the selection part of it. I gave names to her. I'm sure others did too. I also had people from the community who reached out and said they were interested, and I forwarded all those names to Ms. Garrett. Last week we met with, it was me, Mr. Mickens, Mr. Jones, Mr. Green, Ms. Garrett, Ms. Mitchell, and Jeff Turnage, our city attorney, is not officially on it, but he will be a part of the process. And we met and discussed all the names that had been submitted, and this was the list that that group took forward to the council meeting last night. And it was voted unanimously to accept this committee. The council also voted to potentially increase the salary of the police chief. The range was between $74,000 and $90,000. We studied, we looked at other municipalities, and I'll read some of these off to you. Hernando, who has a population size of a little over 17,000, their police chief makes $95,680. Columbus, us, $24,084. We've been paying the police chief $74,160. Jackson, Mississippi, who has 153,701 population, $102,400. Oxford, who has a population just a slight bit higher than ours, 25,416. Their police chief makes $106,000 a year. South Haven, Mississippi, with a population of 54,000, a little almost 55. Police chief was making 101. Starkville with 24,360 was currently making 85,60. It's my understanding that that salary will go up next year with their new budget to 100,000. Tupelo, which has 37,926, the police chief there makes 105,000 a year. So as you can see, our salary range for our police chief has been far behind the other cities that we looked at closely. So that's why the council felt like we needed to address that. Also, we made some changes from the job description from prior applications for the chief of police. The last search we did obviously was, I guess, in 2017 because chief took over in 2018. And the job description looks a good bit different from the time before. Obviously, we looked at other job descriptions in areas such as we mentioned here. I did a lot of updating to what I've described as the type of skill set that you want for a police department in the 21st century. So that's where we are on this, and it was a unanimous vote on each of these areas: the salary range, the new job description, and the members of the search committee. So it is my understanding that the search committee will get to work soon, making sure we're prepared to make sure that this search goes as quickly as possible. And again, it will be open for 30 days. It's also my understanding that I think we've already gotten applications in even before we posted a job description. So there is interest in the position. Let's see. What else? Yes, we discussed the budget calendar last night. And the council did vote on that to accept that. Jim, do you have the budget calendar with you? Yeah, I'll read it, and if there's any questions, I'll let you. Yes. Our budget calendar that we announced last night, we have to publish our first notice of a public hearing to consider tax levies and budget by Thursday, August 18th. That will be published in the Columbus Packet. Tuesday, August the 23rd at 10 a.m. at City Hall, the budget workshop with department heads. On Thursday, October the 25th, the second notice will be published in the Columbus Packet. The second notice of the public hearing is to consider tax levies and budget. On August the 30th at 6 p.m., at the Trotter Convention Center, we will have our first town hall meeting, and I hope people will show up for this. We did 2 of these last year. It's the first time I think we've ever had them at the Trotter. We did that to try to accommodate a large audience. I hope citizens will take the time to show up. We will go over the budgeting process there, try to explain exactly how it works, how the taxpayers' dollars will be used. In our budgeting process, as y'all have heard us talk about, we're looking at salary increases and several other things within our budget. This is taxpayer dollars, and the citizens, in my opinion, should be very involved in the process. So I hope people will show up for that. We have a second meeting on September the 1st at 5 p.m., which will be at the Trotter Convention Center as well, and that's a public hearing to adopt the millage levy and discuss the budget. These are all important things, and I encourage folks to come out for it. On Tuesday, September the 6th at 5 p.m., which is the council meeting at the municipal complex, the city council meeting will be there. We will adopt the budget at that time. On Thursday, September the 15th, it will be published in the Columbus Packet. We'll publish the resolution and millage setting for tax levies. We are also, and I mentioned this last night, has been something that I have wanted to put in place since I was elected, and it's what I'm calling a budget guide for the city of Columbus. I looked at other municipalities to see what they had. The budgeting process can be very confusing, especially if you're not an accountant. And I think it's important that we make it as easy to understand as possible for all of our citizens. And the process that we go through, who's involved, the time frame, some of these dates that I just read out, we're mandated by state statute to do these things. But I think it's also important that everybody understand the role that the mayor plays in this, the role that the city council plays, the role that department heads play in it. And so we're going to have all that information in this one document that we will hand out to folks, and people can also go to our website once it's complete. And we're working hard now to have that ready. Hopefully we'll have it ready by the first meeting that we have in the community. But I think it'll help people quite a bit in understanding the process. It's something they can go back and reference. You hear us talk many times about this is the responsibility of the mayor, this is the responsibility of the council. We are a special charter city. I think it's important. There have been many times when the city has asked for clarification from the Attorney General's office on who's responsible for what. Is it the mayor? Is it the council? Is it a combination of the two? And so we're going through all those documents, and I want to make sure that we have it very clear so that everybody understands, and that it's in a place that can be easily accessed. And so we'll hopefully have that coming soon. It's a top priority for me to have that out. Now, Jim, did you have anything you wanted to add to the? Good. We did not have an executive session last night, which was great. So we don't have anything from that because we've been having quite a few of those. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I wanted to make a statement on. I can't think of anything else. So if y'all have questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Can you explain this, the transportation district that you guys voted on last night and what that's for and what you hope to come out of?
Yeah, I have the resolution here because I felt like this was something that y'all might ask about. And this was brought to our attention by Councilwoman DeChico, who attended the meeting in Starkville with the Golden Triangle Planning and Development District. And what this is my understanding, is that by passing this resolution, it allows us to be a part of this group, and therefore we'll be able to potentially access grant dollars primarily from this. Is that your understanding too, Jeff?
I don't know. I hadn't heard about it really.
Yeah, but I have a copy of the resolution here, and that's basically what it is. Let's see, it says Columbus, Mississippi wishes to be a part of and participate in the planning, development, and organization of rural transportation planning organization through the Golden Triangle Planning and Development District. Upon approval of said organization, each participating entity will be eligible to receive assistance in funding of certain highway, bridge, or tunnel projects that are eligible under the U.S. Department of Transportation. So that's my understanding, that by being a part of this group, we will have access to information that we might not know otherwise, but it gives us the ability to try to leverage federal government dollars for the things that I just mentioned there.
Yeah, Mayor, can you talk about are we gonna bring back the police overview committee? Are we gonna bring that back?
I hope so. I think anytime you have a citizen group like that, it's helpful. As you know, we talked about last night, it's not been active for a while. The members of that committee are appointed by council members, so you have one from each ward. And so, yes, I'm very hopeful that we will bring that back. I think it's very helpful to everybody. I think it gives the community a voice to be able to engage with the police department. I think a new chief would probably appreciate something like that very much, where they can be engaged in the community, kind of have their finger on the pulse of what's going on in the city. And as you know, I have, from the beginning of my tenure, one of my goals is to be as transparent as we possibly can on issues like this. Obviously, crime is a serious issue across the country. Columbus is no different from any other municipality. As I've stated many times, I think the perception of crime being higher in Columbus than other areas is just that, a perception. However, there is a lot of crime going on, and there are a lot of different reasons for that that we need to be working on to address. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again here, we can't arrest our way out of the issues that we're facing. When you look at the level of poverty in our community, the level of folks that we've left in our population in recent years, the focus on public education, all those things make a difference in the community. And as I've said to people all the time in Columbus, whether you have a child, a grandchild, or anybody, or even have children, you should be interested in what's going on in our public schools. You should be interested in what's going on as far as the city being able to attract business and industry. When business and industry are looking to go to a new area, two of the areas they look at first is, how are your public schools doing? What is your crime rate? So, and city officials can't fix that by themselves. The police department can't fix that by themselves. It should be a community effort. So yes, I hope that committee does come back and soon.
You know, Captain Mabia brought up last night about monthly state of the ward meeting.
Mm-hmm.
We looking at it, he said it had happened since 2019, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Are we considering doing anything like that as well?
Well, that's his. I was hearing about that for the first time last night. I commend him. Yeah, I commend him on doing that. I think you know, I would encourage all the council members to hold ward. You know, he's having those here at City Hall, which is fine. It'll be upstairs. I would encourage them to also consider having them inside their ward for easy access. I think I encourage the council members regularly to, you know, be as proactive in their wards as possible. I hear from a lot of citizens in the different wards, and I always try to loop them in if it's an issue. But the more that we are available to our constituents, to listen to them and try to help solve the problems together, the better. So I commend him on that, and I think he's going to do it. I think he referred to it as the state of his ward, or the state of the ward 4. He's inviting people to, I think he's reserved the room upstairs, the old courtroom, and he's going to do it, I think one part of the month.
Third Monday of each month?
Third at 6 o'clock. And he's encouraging people to come with the hard questions. The last Monday? Yeah. So I'm thrilled that he's doing it. I think the more the council members, you know, I've told them before, I've talked to council members in other cities, municipalities who have regular meetings in their wards to try to stay engaged and learn what's going on in their community. Again, it's a great way to have, you know, get a feel of the pulse of what's going on. You know, I try to be as active in the wards as I can be as well. I'm happy to, if the council wants to begin having ward meetings, if they would like for me to attend them periodically, I would be happy to do that. Again, I think the more we communicate with the citizens, the better, in whatever format that might be. That's why I started the work session. That's why I started doing these meetings. I plan to each year give what I call the state of the city. I'm working on that now. I'd hope to do it in July. It's like we're going to do it in August. I'm going to do mine. I'm going to record mine and release it on Facebook, probably, social media, and on our other areas that we release videos like that. And then, you know, if need be, to have a meeting where people can come and ask some of the questions. But I think it's important that we give the community as much information as possible. That's it? All right. Thanks, everybody.